A KPIX 5 investigation into allegations of sexual harassment of employees at Bay Area VA clinics is now getting national attention tonight.
Only on 5, Kristen Ayers found out it appears to be a widespread problem.
He would just be looking me up and down, and I would just keep going like I don't notice him.
Looking you up and down?
Like he could see me out of my clothes.
For months, this woman says her supervisor at the VA Medical Center in Martinez has been harassing her, even asking for sex in exchange for a job transfer. But when she reported the abuse, she says no one would help.
They discouraged you from doing anything further. The union
The VA did, the federal government, because whenever I would go someone, it's like everybody say he's doing his job.
She's one of 3 women that have come forward to KPIX 5, all claiming they've complained about the same supervisor, Daryl Milburn. They say nothing has been done to discipline him. Instead, Milburn punished 2 of the women who filed formal complaints against him with write-ups and demotions. Turns out a similar scenario played out in Colorado at this VA clinic with another supervisor.
He hung around my desk quite often. He would tell sexual jokes.
Cheryl Franklin is one of 5 nurses who says they were sexually harassed by their boss.
He would come up to me and rub my shoulders, and he would laugh about it if I would tell him to stop. He would say, do you really mean it? And I said, yeah, I mean it. I want you to stop.
She says the supervisor eventually approached her in a stairwell, pushed her up against the wall, and tried to kiss her.
He felt like he had me cornered, and there was nothing that I could do.
In this report to the VA police, another nurse claimed the same supervisor kissed her on the neck and asked for oral sex. Another reported he reached into her pants and pulled her underwear to give her a wedgie. But when they decided to blow the whistle, they too say no one believed them.
We were the bad guys for reporting this sexual assault.
Deborah Casados was sent to a windowless basement to work alone. She shot pictures with her cell phone.
You had to have a card to get into that door because it was always locked. I was so petrified.
2 other nurses were fired, and more than 2 years later, attorney Patricia Bangert says the case is still not settled.
The other employees continued to work for the VA and suffered all sorts of horrible retaliation, including the VA starting 2 investigations of the women. The second investigation resulted in recommendations that the women be disciplined.
He's been in trouble before for retaliating against employees who blew the whistle. Then it was about long delays in caring for veterans. Now our investigation of employee harassment and retaliation could put the agency in the hot seat again.
Well, my initial reaction is one of outrage.
Congresswoman Speier sits on a newly formed Whistleblower Protection Commission in Washington.
We know that the VA throughout the country has had very serious problems. We have spent a lot of taxpayer dollars trying to make the VA system work better than it has, to make sure that veterans get access to the physicians when they need them. And I find this retaliatory action within the VA totally unacceptable.
VA officials told us they can't talk about specific cases for privacy reasons, but the medical director for Northern California did agree to discuss the complaint process.
We try and take every claim seriously.
David Stockwell says the agency has set up an Office of Resolution Management that conducts impartial investigations.
The whole reason we have an independent outside review is so that we can't have the cronyism of protecting and circling the wagons.
But according to the VA's own data, less than 4% of employee complaints filed with the ORM resulted in findings of discrimination in fiscal 2014.
That's next to nothing. Is it really a fair process if that's what the numbers are showing?
We've made a very easy process, a very accessible process for somebody to say, I don't think I was treated fairly. And so people take advantage of that.
Those numbers are heavily skewed against findings of discrimination. It is very difficult, I think, for a logical person to hear that of all of the complaints that you receive, that 96% of them have absolutely no basis whatsoever.
We don't make that determination. It's done outside of our VA Medical Center.
And he says if employees don't like the outcome,
they could certainly vote with as far as their employment decisions of working for the VA.
But the women we talked to say they're staying put to fight for their rights.
Have to, expose them so this man won't keep doing this to women.
And now they've got backup.
I will do everything in my power to make sure that they are treated as whistleblowers, should be treated with respect. Their cases should be handled appropriately, and the perpetrator should be punished.
Kristen Ayers, KPIX 5.
Now, the VA's Office of Resolution Management is currently investigating the complaints of 2 employees who talked to us. But as we previously reported,